Don't trust Japanese people. That's the bottom line. Yes, don't trust them. You're doing wrong. Common mistakes in preparing natto. That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya, the Natto King. I am the author of Natto Unleashed and the Ikigai Diet. So how many people eat natto like this? Well, if you do, then you're doing wrong. I'll tell you why in a minute, so please stay tuned. First of all, I have a disclaimer to make. Now, there is no such a thing as you're doing it wrong. In fact, any way is okay. Yeah. In the Ikigai diet, we encourage people to, have a different ways of doing things in general. There's no correct way or there's no wrong way of doing things. Yeah. I just use this title because I've been told that it's a good title to put on your YouTube video, right? So, there's nothing wrong with eating, natto this way, but if you're doing it without knowing what happens, without knowing the effect, then you may want to educate yourself first, yeah? And then once you have all the information, then you can still decide to do it, but that is called informed decision. So I want you to make an informed decision, not do things without knowing the consequences, right? But don't Japanese people do that? Yes, we do. Many Japanese people eat natto this way. In fact, I would say majority of Japanese people eat natto this way. Yeah. So what's wrong with it? Well, the thing is, don't trust Japanese people. That's the bottom line. Yes, don't trust them because they are ignorant about health and social issues in general. Yeah. You think Japanese people are healthy? You think Japanese people live long? Yeah, some of them do, but most of them are very ignorant when it comes to, I don't know, like for example, many people still wear a mask. Yeah, because of the pandemic. The pandemic is over now. Yeah, the government says in March, you can take your mask off, and in May, officially, you no longer need to wear a mask. Yeah, and they kind of made it the official policy. And yet people are still wearing masks now. Why? Because many people are still wearing masks, so they feel little afraid to take the mask off. Yeah, it's a kind of a social pressure. Yeah, or they don't want to be the first to take the mask off. Yeah, that is not based on science or anything. Okay, now I don't mind people wearing masks if they have a reason to do it. If they have a scientific kind of reason to do it, then yeah, sure, go ahead. That's your choice. But just doing it without knowing the consequences. Now it's summertime. It's boiling hot. I told you we are like yesterday, it's over 36 degrees centigrade. Yeah, it's very hot. It's kind of dangerous to keep wearing masks now. So I don't understand why doctors don't say anything to those people who are still wearing masks. Yeah, but so that's the kind of ignorant you often see in Japan, not only about masks, but so many other things. So do not trust Japanese people. Do not model the average Japanese people. Yeah, right. Yeah, so there are healthy Japanese people too. In fact, I wrote about this in my book in the first chapter, The Secret to Staying Young from the Healthiest People in Japan. So there are unhealthy people, and there are healthy people, and there are the healthiest people in Japan. So if you want to learn the secret to staying young and healthy, learn from the healthiest people in Japan, but not from the average Japanese people. Because when you talk about the average Japanese people, probably health conscious people in the West, which probably I suppose you're all into health, yeah, since you're watching this channel, are way better than the average Japanese people. When you compare the average Japanese people with the average Westerners, maybe they're slightly healthier, yeah, but not healthier than the health-conscious Westerners. All right? All right, so what's wrong with natto on rice? Well, some of you can probably tell, yeah? Well, first of all, white rice isn't good. It's a refined carb, yeah? I mean, it's better to eat brown rice or fermented brown rice, yeah? So, I mean, that's the thing. Most Japanese people eat natto with white rice, yeah? If you are eating, if you want to eat natto, please eat natto with brown rice or fermented brown rice. Yeah. And the second point is on top of hot rice isn't good. This is because when you put natto on hot rice, the natto, kind of bottom part of natto kind of get heated. And then once it is heated above 50 degrees centigrade, then an enzyme called natto kinase can be destroyed. And natto kinase is quite important. It helps your blood circulation and it, prevent from blood clotting and so on. And then, so if we want to gain the benefit of natto kinase, it is better not to heat nattos. Yeah, therefore, it is better to avoid putting natto on top of hot food. All right, so to eat natto, it's better to eat natto separately from rice. And then when you eat rice, please eat brown rice or fermented brown rice, which is called koso genmai in Japanese. I made several videos on koso genmai, so please watch them if you don't know what koso genmai is. And then the next thing is raw egg natto. Now, this is also a popular way of eating natto. So some of you may be eating natto this way, modeling the average Japanese people. Yeah. Again, don't do this. Yeah. Because avidin found in raw egg whites can interfere with absorption of biotin, a vitamin present in natto. And avidin strongly binds to biotin, making it difficult to be absorbed in the digestive tract, right? So if you want to eat natto with eggs, it's better to eat it with cooked egg or poached egg, yeah? And then the last thing is eating natto for breakfast. Now, how many of you eat natto for breakfast because you think it is a breakfast dish? Well, it's not entirely wrong, but recently among natto lovers or among health-conscious Japanese people, natto is eaten for dinner because, as I told you about, I told you about natto kinase, right? So to gain the effect of natto kinase, it is better to eat natto for dinner because natto kinase works best after 10 to 12 hours after eating it. And then it is better for you to make it work during your sleep because during your sleep, blood clotting most likely happen. Therefore, you want natto kinase to work during your sleep. Yeah. However, eating natto for breakfast, it doesn't mean you don't gain anything by eating natto for breakfast. You can gain benefit from natto bacteria. Breakfast means breaking fast. It's a fast breaking meal because even if you don't practice intermittent fasting, you have a 10 to 12 hours break between dinner and breakfast. It's the longest break you have. So it's good to have probiotic to feed to your gut microbiome, the first thing in the morning, right? Now, having said that, it isn't a traditional way of eating natto in Japan because we didn't have breakfast for a long time in Japan. It's quite recent when we started having breakfast. I think up until the middle of Edo period, people ate only 2 meals a day. They didn't have breakfast. They only had kind of late breakfast and early dinner. So like they ate somewhere around like maybe 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and then they ate around 4 o'clock. Just only 2 meals, right? So their fast breaking meal was effective because you probably had, 14 to like 15 hours break. Yeah. So if you practice intermittent fasting, and then if you choose to skip breakfast, then the best time to eat natto is for your lunch to gain the effect of natto kin. Yeah. But I mean, you might skip dinner and you might have breakfast and lunch. In that case, yeah, you can have natto for breakfast, right? So depending on, what your situation is and what element of natto you want to take advantage of. If you want to take advantage of natto kinase, then it's better to eat natto for dinner, right? Yeah. So anyway, there are many things like that you don't know about natto. Since you just started eating natto recently, yeah. Therefore, in the book, I made a chapter called Natto FAQs, your top questions answered. And then I cover questions like when is the best time to consume natto, breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Is it possible to have natto for both breakfast and dinner on the same day? What is the recommended daily quantity of natto? Is it good to eat natto every day? Can natto be cooked? Is it okay to add natto to miso soup? Where is the best place to store natto? And can natto be frozen? Can you eat natto straight from the fridge? How many times should natto be stirred before eating? Is natto safe for everyone to consume? Yeah. So the book is available on Amazon, both as Kindle and print-on-demand paperback. So for more information, please read the book. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya, the Natto King, the author of Natto Unleashed and the Ikigai Diet. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And please leave your comment. Yeah. What are the things that you didn't know about natto eating? All right. I'll see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai.